Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of the Twizzcast VideoCast. I am your host, Twizz, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Hippy. How are you, man?
I'm doing great.
Good, good. We've got a lot in store for you guys this week. We are going to be talking about the Thunderforged items that are coming out in patch 5.2. We've got everything from the Blue Post news regarding that, and a look at some of the weapons that are coming out of that. So, Hippy, why don't you take it away, man, with a little bit of the overview?
You bet. So, within the last week or so, one of the Blizzard community managers, Tealaru, which I've probably butchered that name completely. I'm sure I'll hear from Blizz on that. Posted in the community forums about some of the information that's coming out around the new Thunderforged items. Everybody's heard about these. These are the items that are going to drop in the new Throne of the Thunder King raid coming up with patch 5.2. One of the neat things that they added, though, is that these items are going to be more likely to drop in 25-man raiding, which may lead to kind of an uptick in 25-man raiders, because that'll just give them a slightly increased item level compared to 10-mans, just because the drop rate's going to be a little higher. I know that in our own guild that we've and Twizz, you're part of that 25-man team, so you guys will be able to benefit from that, which is great.
Oh, I am fully on board with this, man. This was not their answer to get back into 25-man rating, but I think more of maybe a little bit of an incentive, for people to say, well, let's push a little harder and try and get back the 25-man team we came into this expansion with.
Definitely. So as I mentioned, these items they'll drop in the new 5.2 raid, Throne of the Thunder King, and that's why don't you tell us a little bit about the detail of that?
Sure, and actually, we'll go ahead and take a look at some of these weapons real quick. These Thunderforged items can drop from the normal or heroic mode raids, but not from the raid finder. And they have an item level which is 6 higher than the standard item level of these obtained from those sources. Now, I take that back. It is available in the raid finder with an eye level of 502. I misspoke. Go figure. But the normal mode is going to be item level 522, and the normal Thunderforged is 528. The heroic item level is 535, and the heroic Thunderforged eye level is 541. Now, you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong on this. Do they have this? Am I understanding this right? The Thunderforged items are not going to be in LFR, or are they?
Thunderforged will not be in raid finders. So the highest you'll see out of LFR is a 502, and then
Interesting.
And then you'll go into your normal mode items, which is 522, which we'll talk about a little bit later with the new factions that are coming out. But that's going to be the new cap for normal mode, and then the chance you'll get is to get a 528 piece, which will give you 6 more than that normal mode.
Okay.
And then your standard heroic stuff will be 535 with a heroic Thunderforge of 541. So, no, you didn't misspeak. The raid finder top end you're going to get is 502 out of raid finder.
Okay. And you know what? I do want to bring up one thing, man. I remember back in the Wrath days when it was, I had an item level 264. Oh my gosh. Look at that 264 I got,
That back when we had a health pool of 60,000, and it was like, you'll never kill me.
Exactly. I'm looking at these, an item level of 541. That's just,
it's insane.
Unbelievable. So, anyways, the Thunderforge versus Tier 15. What's kind of going on with that?
So this will be one of those interesting questions that we get. So as we start getting these Thunderforged pieces, let's say you're walking into some place and you get that piece drop. Well, gosh, I've already got my 4-piece bonus from my Tier 15. So now I have to make the decision: do I want that extra +6 eye level, or do I want are my set bonuses good enough to keep those and stay with the lower item level? So and it really, and as we covered in the last vidcast, it really will depend on that set bonus. Some of them are great, some of them are not so much. So you got to evaluate that, and one of the things I was thinking is maybe we can get the good folks at Ask Mr. Robot, maybe they'll integrate that into their tool on hey, what's it going to cost me if I break this set in from a bonuses? What am I really missing out on from that perspective?
Oh, absolutely. I would be willing to bet they're going to be all over that. That's just how they are. Give me the best optimal setup I can possibly have.
Yeah,
So
yeah. With some
I
of the
have
new
no doubt.
features, I think it's going to be. I think it'll flow really, really well into kind of what they're doing with their site.
Sure, absolutely. As we get closer to the release of 5.2, more of this will be clarified. To be sure, we do know that they are supposedly removing the upgrade of items, so you will not be able to go to that vendor and basically say, I'm going to spend the Valor points and bump this up X amount of eye levels. You're not going to have that anymore. So I guess if you have something, a current best in slot item, like I have the tanking trinket, the Dark Moon Fair card tanking trinket, which is pretty much one of my best in slot, even through heroic rating. Go ahead and bump that one up because that one's not going anywhere. So that's something like that is good to use your Valor points on. And let's see here. Wowhead does show upgrade stats for gear that will come from either the Sunreaver Onslaught or the Kirin Tor Offensive. The gear from the Shadowpan Offensive, which is the third faction for 5.2, will have a 522 Valor gear and no upgrade functionality. So again, that's just about it. So did I miss anything?
No. I think that part's kind of exciting because originally we heard there's gonna be two factions, which one for Horde, one for Alliance. Well, now we're gonna get a third one. So yeah, more dailies, yay.
Right.
but kind of the neat thing about the Sunreavers and the Kirin Tor is that those aren't going to be they're not going to have any Valor gear pieces at all. So anything they sell, you're just going to be able to buy for gold once you have your reputation up. And then any Valor points that we get, you'll either be you'll still have that opportunity to get 522 Valor gear, which originally I heard that they weren't going to have any Valor gear in 5.2. So I'm happy to see that they did put a faction in, or they probably had it in there all along. Somebody just spoke. Because otherwise, if I want to get 522, well, now I have to raid. Basically, I can't do LFR. Right. I can't grind out Valor and buy a 522. It was that way up until I found out about Shadowpan Offensive. So that'll be. Plus, you get to help pandas, and that's always just fun.
Oh, I agree. So, I think that's going to cover us for the Thunderforged items for this week. So, if you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can get a hold of us at Twizzcast. I am at TwizzTE. Hippy, you are. I'll let you give your contact information out if you like.
I am at Hippy_TE on Twitter and HippyElf1 at gmail.com on email.
Cool. And all things going on with Twizzcast can obviously be found at Twizzcast.com. So thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next week.